Benito Mussolini, the man who turned Italy into a fascist state, allied with Hitler, and led his country into one of the darkest chapters in history. But who was Mussolini really? How did a small-town schoolteacher rise to absolute power and end up executed by his own people? In this video, we'll uncover the story of Mussolini's rise, his rule, and his ultimate downfall, and how his legacy still echoes in politics today. Let's begin the story of Benito Mussolini, the father of fascism. Benito Amilcare Andrea Mussolini was born on July 29, 1883, in a small Italian village called Predappio. His father, Alessandro Mussolini, was a socialist blacksmith, and his mother, Rosa Maltoni, was a schoolteacher. From both parents, he inherited a mix of radical passion and strict discipline. As a young boy, Mussolini was smart but rebellious. He loved reading but hated authority. In school, he often got into fights, once even stabbing a fellow student with a knife, which got him expelled. After finishing his education, he worked as a school teacher for a short time, but soon turned to journalism, where he began writing fiery political articles. His talent for words and his aggressive tone quickly made him a known voice in socialist circles. In the early 1900s, Mussolini was a dedicated socialist, believing in equality, workers' rights, and anti-war ideals. But when World War I broke out in 1914, Mussolini's views changed dramatically. While most socialists opposed the war, Mussolini supported it. He saw the war as a way to unite Italians and rebuild the nation's power. This stance got him expelled from the Socialist Party, but it also marked the turning point in his life. From socialist to nationalist, he now believed Italy needed a strong authoritarian leader to bring order and restore the glory of the old Roman Empire. That leader, he decided, would be him. After the war ended in 1918, Italy was in chaos. The economy was broken, people were jobless, and political violence was spreading across the country. Sensing opportunity, Mussolini founded a new movement in 1919 called the Fasci di Combattimento, or fighting leagues. The term fascism came from the ancient Roman symbol fasces, a bundle of rods bound together, symbolizing strength through unity. Mussolini promised to restore national pride, end political division, and fight communism. He used powerful speeches, propaganda, and emotional nationalism to attract millions of frustrated Italians. His supporters, known as the Black Shirts, were violent street fighters who attacked communists, strikers, and political opponents. They used intimidation and fear to silence anyone who disagreed, and the government, weak and divided, couldn't stop them. In October 1922, Mussolini made his boldest move, the March on Rome. Thousands of armed black shirts marched toward Italy's capital, demanding power. The government panicked and wanted to declare martial law, but the king, Victor Emmanuel III, refused. Instead, he made a shocking decision. He invited Mussolini to form a new government. At just 39 years old, Mussolini became the Prime Minister of Italy, not through election, but through intimidation. And that marked the end of democracy in Italy and the beginning of dictatorship. Once in power, Mussolini began reshaping Italy into a totalitarian state. He slowly removed political opposition, censored newspapers, and controlled the education system to spread his ideology. He created a personality cult, calling himself Il Duce, meaning the leader. His image was everywhere, posters, newspapers, even classrooms. He wanted Italians to see him as strong, fearless, and almost divine, a man chosen to rebuild the Roman Empire. Under his rule, Italy saw improvements in infrastructure, public transport, and employment. Trains ran on time, industries grew, and the streets seemed organized. But it all came at a cost. Freedom was gone. Anyone who criticized the government could be jailed, exiled, or killed. Mussolini ruled through fear, surveillance, and propaganda. Mussolini's ambition didn't stop at Italy's borders. He dreamed of creating a new Roman Empire that would dominate Europe and Africa. In 1935, he invaded Ethiopia, one of the few independent nations in Africa. Despite international condemnation, Italy won the war, and Mussolini declared that Italy finally had its empire. His popularity at home skyrocketed. Parades, speeches, and propaganda painted him as a global hero. During the Spanish Civil War, he supported another dictator, Francisco Franco, and grew closer to Adolf Hitler in Germany. By 1939, Mussolini officially aligned Italy with Nazi Germany, forming the Axis powers. He believed the alliance would help Italy expand its empire and share in Hitler's success. But Mussolini's biggest mistake came when he entered World War II in 1940. Seeing Germany's victories across Europe, he thought it would be a quick and easy win. But Italy's army was weak, poorly equipped, and unprepared. Soon, Italian troops faced defeat after defeat in Greece, North Africa, and the Balkans. By 1943, Italy was being bombed, its cities destroyed, and its people starving. The Italian people lost faith in Mussolini. The same parliament that once cheered for him now voted to remove him from power. He was arrested, and King Victor Emmanuel replaced him as prime minister. But Hitler wouldn't let his ally fall so easily. German commandos staged a daring raid, rescued Mussolini, and flew him to northern Italy, where he was made the leader of a puppet state called the Italian Social Republic. However, Mussolini's power was gone. The Allies were advancing, and Germany was collapsing. In April 1945, as Allied forces closed in, Mussolini tried to flee to Switzerland disguised as a German soldier. But he was captured by Italian partisans, resistance fighters who opposed fascism. On April 28, 1945, Benito Mussolini and his mistress, Clara Petacci, were executed by firing squad. Their bodies were hung upside down in a public square in Milan, where angry crowds jeered, spat, and threw stones. The final humiliation for a man who once demanded worship like a god. Mussolini's death marked the end of fascist Italy and the end of his dream of empire. After the war, Italy became a republic. The fascist party was banned, and Mussolini's name became a symbol of dictatorship, propaganda, and the dangers of total power. But his influence didn't disappear. The word fascism, born from his movement, became a global term used to describe any regime built on nationalism, authoritarianism, and the suppression of opposition. Even today, historians study Mussolini's rise and fall as a warning, a reminder of how economic crisis, fear, and anger can lead ordinary people to support a dictator. Mussolini once said, "It is better to live one day as a lion than 100 years as a sheep." But in the end, his roar faded into silence, leaving behind a nation in ruins and a legacy of tragedy. So that's the story of Benito Mussolini, the man who promised to make Italy great again, but instead led it to destruction. His life reminds us that when freedom is sacrificed for power, history always takes its revenge. If you found this video interesting, hit like, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more History Explained. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.